Good evening out there from North America. Anyone that's tuning into this video, welcome to my channel, Bear Charts Trading and Investing, where I'm going to be going through hundreds of stocks, crypto assets, futures, forex. If you're into technical analysis, no matter what asset class you're trading, I think you're going to get some value from my videos. And there's much for me as they are for me to do my analysis and stay on track. So I wanted to go over first. I'm going to be using Thinkorswim as well as TradingView. If you haven't seen my first video, go back and watch that where I cover a little bit what I'm going to be dealing with as far as the equity side of the markets to start. Um, for tonight's video, I'm going to be going through one stock that's makes up these 1,167 stocks out of the Russell 2000. So the Russell 2000 is the small cap portion of the stock market. There's 1,167 stocks that are over $5 and had at least 100,000 of volume as the time when I pulled the list. I'm not going to be interested in the major, non-major bancorps, biosciences, healthcare, biotech, or REITs. Makes up a lot of the Russell 2000. There's a lot of junk in there. So even if a stock looks half decent and it's one of those, unless the chart's very compelling, then I'll dig into it a little bit further. So for tonight, I pulled out of those 1,167 stocks that I went through, there's a list of 51 stocks here that are over $5, over 100,000 of volume, and have a kind of a favorable, interesting chart pattern that I want to dig into a little bit more. So when I scan through these, I click through on a weekly chart. I use a max time frame and I use a logarithmic scale. If you don't know what logarithmic scale is, Google it, and it makes a smoother, cleaner chart where each gain, so if something goes from 0 to 100, and then it goes 100 to 200, and then it goes 200 to 400, all those 100% gains look the same on the chart. So Build-A-Bear IPO'd back in 2004. So there's about 20 years of price action here. I was intrigued that it recently broke the all-time highs around $33. And since COVID, we've had this beautiful uptrend, resulting in about a 2,200% gain. So when you zoom in here, when I say beautiful uptrend, it looks like this. It's like a staircase. We have these higher highs and then these higher lows, and the progression upwards. So the first level that sticks out to me on this chart is a rally and a base and a rally right around $17, and the lower end would be about, call it 14. So we had a rally off the bottom. We based in here with four candles and then we rocketed out. Price couldn't come back and retest, and then it tried to retest again and didn't before we made higher highs. So that would be my initial buy zone. That being said, when you measure from kind of where current price is up here down, that's about a 52% decline. So I don't anticipate that level getting touched anytime soon, given Trump's presidential win and the bullish sentiment that's in the markets right now. So let's drill down to a 2-day chart here, and we'll just see if there's any other levels that look intriguing. So if we come down to a 2-day chart, we can see. Let me just zoom in a little bit more. We can see there's a little gap right here that hasn't been filled. So let's put some lines around that. And then we'll go down to a daily chart and see if there's anything else that intrigues us. There's a gap here also that you'll notice, but it pretty much almost got filled. So that's not something that I would look to enter a long position on off that point right there. It's also an area right here, similar where we had that rally in, a base and then rally out, but market tested it here and then rallied out of that level. So it's what we call a non-fresh zone. So we're not going to be looking at adding any buy orders there. So I'm going to take this off. Let's go down to a daily. And on the daily, again, you can kind of see, let's go add a little bit more time. 3 years, how about? Come out to the daily. Again, you can see there was a rally, a bit of a base, and a rally out. But again, the market kind of came into it. And then a rally and a base right here. And it shot up, and then we kind of tested back into that twice. So the only fresh levels I see is the open gap right here that I'd be interested to take a trade long, and then all the way down with that larger weekly time frame level. And then the other thing I like to do is add in kind of your traditional technical analysis as far as just support and resistance zones. So if we go to back when it got the all-time high got breached, we kind of add a little zone around there. And then we add a zone around all this. area from, when was this, 2006 until 2007. You can see, let's go back to my cursor. You can see the market came up, bumped up against here, came down, bumped up against here, almost broke through, came down, and then we finally broke through. And then we bumped up against this level, retraced down to this level here, and then we made a new all-time high. So with something like this, there's ways we could play Build-A-Bear. We could add a quarter of a position here. We could add another quarter of a position here, and then we could add the remaining amount if we ever got down to here. Or we could add a quarter of a position and wait for new chart pattern to form. Maybe even adding another quarter here and a quarter here would work. So what I've done is I just drew up a little screenshot here from Excel of what I'm going to be doing with this channel. So for the small cap sector, I haven't decided if I'm going to commingle everything together, but we're going to put on some hypothetical paper money trades and track some of these positions. So $1 million account size, you shouldn't really have more than 5% risk, which would be 20 stocks if you were trading a live account. You could also do lower risk. So you could say 2% per position, which would give you 50 stocks. So I'm going to kind of be in between here, but for using 2% as an example, if we were trying to put on this trade, we'd add 5,000, which would be a quarter position right now. We'd add 5,000 in here, we'd have 5,000 in here, and we'd have 5,000 down here, which would make up our 2% allocation to Build-A-Bear. So that's a way you can build out one of these trades. And I mean, if it goes from here and we end up going up to $50 and onwards, then you kind of had a good entry point, as opposed to if we're waiting for some massive pullback, we might never get into some of these positions, right? So it's always good to, when you see a strong chart pattern, to enter a small, take a bite, and then kind of be able to know which levels you want to add into. Um, the program I guess program website I use for fundamental analysis is called Innovestor. Now, what I'll do once I see a chart like this and I like the technicals, I'm gonna look at the score that this equity gets in Innovestor. So Innovestor is a fundamental platform only, and they take all the fundamentals and they give you, kind of pump out some scores. So from Innovestor, I can see that Build-A-Bear has current operational value over future growth value, so that's a good thing. There's actual operational value built into the stock, and it's a profitable company for its investors. A lot of times you get a company where the stock is based on future growth only and not on current operational value. So that's huge. And the performance risk score is very favorable for Build-A-Bear. So on an overview look, the fundamentals look good. I don't dig into too much detail. I don't do a dividend discount model. I don't try and say, okay, my target is $37 when it's trading at $36.80. But I do like to look at the fundamentals. If a company is way overvalued and has a ton of future growth value built in, and it's not a profitable company, that will weigh into if I'd like to own that business. So there you have it for Build-A-Bear. What we're going to do is we're going to set some alerts here. I'm going to add one right in here. Let's go create an alert. And we're going to go at or below. There we go. And then when this alert's hit, we can add another one down here. I'll do the buys in a different video when I cover a few more of these equities. And that's all I got for tonight. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.